Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to Algodu tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Brendan. I don't know if that sounded any different, but I went around my mic like this, so I don't know if that did anything, but hopefully.
Oh, is that what you're doing? No, it just cut out. Like, it's a cardioid mic, so it doesn't pick up a certain section of it.
That's a shame.
Anyways, I'm Commander Wolf, everybody. Hello. I'm not going to try to repeat that because my microphone is kind of on a stick, and I can't get up to go around the stick.
Well, this is my first time recording at my new college. I just moved down to Florida 2 weeks ago, and now I'm up here in Boston, Northeastern, in my dorm room. And actually, we have an apartment, so the room here is actually kind of big. I mean, obviously, there's going to be another guy in here. He's coming in a couple days, and we'll see if he enjoys marble-related screaming as much as I do, but chances are he gonna get a little annoyed. But listen, I'm sure we'll work it out. We'll work out times where I'll be able to do it because he's obviously not gonna be always in here. And then when I can, when they're open, I will try to find a recording studio to move into. But in the meantime, we got I'm in a new place, and I wasn't gonna even record today because I was tired, and I was tired as crap yesterday. It was crazy, like. I had to fly. I got up early. I flew, and then I got on the subway. I got to my room and had to walk around and buy things for my room that I couldn't get pack in the suitcases. It was just a tiresome day, but somehow we got to the end, and I was feeling shitty yesterday because I didn't eat like anything. I ate an apple for dinner. That was my whole day.
Just an apple?
Just an apple, sir. Because I was just stressed out. I was like really, really stressed out and just nervous, I guess. I don't know, just something, just in general, like stressed out. So yeah, but finally we're here. I'm feeling a lot better today. I'm feeling that's why I wanted to push it off Friday, because I thought I was gonna feel pretty shitty today, but it kind of picked up after I got something to eat and I settled in and stuff like that, and did some other fun things today.
Good.
Yeah, but it was a tough day yesterday for sure. But it's crazy that I'm living alone. It's crazy that I'm living, well, not alone, but like I'm not like going home to my family or my house in like a week or in 2 weeks or in a few days. It's like I'm here for a while. Like this is where I live now. It's kind of weird, but it's so far from home as well. But this is what it is.
Yeah, it takes some adjustment, but you'll get there.
But you know what doesn't take adjustment? You know what doesn't take any adjustment at all? It does not matter where in the world I am. If I sit down and I watch the Rangers perform in the manner that they did today, I'm going to be pissed. And if you're wondering, I was pissed today watching them compete in soccer. Lose to the Chocolatiers of all teams. How do you lose to the Chocolatiers? Physically.
Dude, this Marble League is whack.
That's the word for it. Whack league this year. But we're going to get into all that. All right. We're going to talk the last two events. And I'm going to have to make some confessions. I'm going to have to come out and take responsibility for some of the non-marble sports connoisseur-worthy decisions that I made this season. And I will do so. And I don't even have to see the last event. Because I'm pretty sure things are not going to change form in the last event. But let's go to the news. We'll see you on the other side.
Yep. And this time, maybe it's actually Johnny Marble. Hey.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hello, Marble Sports fans! I am Johnny Marble here with the Marble Sports Worldwide News, sponsored by the Marble Hotel. Wherever you roll, we'll be there. Event 14 of Marble League 2021 was the Classic Sand Rally, and it featured some very intense racing. You never really knew who would come out on top, as the marbles were constantly swapping positions throughout the race, and even the marble who started in first could end in last. The Rojo Rollers finished 7th in their heat and failed to move on into the finals. And unfortunately for their coach, Rojo Cero, it was the last straw for the team manager, who fired them on the spot. It's unfortunate to see them go after they've supported them for so long, but perhaps this change will lead to better performances for the Rojo Rollers. Only time will tell though. On a more positive note, the final race was something else, as a 4-marble photo finish for second occurred, with marbles literally flying over the line. After the analysis by the officials, it was determined that Blue Eye from the Crazy Cat's Eyes came in first, followed by Alpine and the Gliding Glaciers in second, and Shimmer and the Shining Swarm in third. And now for Event 15, soccer, or football depending on where you're from. This event tested the teamwork and precision of the competitors to get the right trajectory for their goal to block their opponents. The Limers gave an especially impressive performance against the Gliding Glaciers, with a last-second goal to come into overtime. But they ultimately lost out in the end. The Glaciers would continue this momentum all the way into the finals to secure the gold, leaving the Chocolatiers with the silver and the Hazers with the bronze. Only one event remains, and yet 11 teams are still mathematically capable of winning the Marble League. It will be a former champion like the Raspberry Racers, an underdog like Team Momo, or even a rookie team like the Gliding Glaciers. It's truly anyone's game, so you better not miss the final event. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Johnny Marble. You, my dear listeners, have been the best fans in the world. Let's take it on back and continue now with the podcast.
We are back from the news, and if this news featured Johnny Marble, which I think it might, then I'm a happy Marble. Because I personally love Johnny Marble. And I'm glad that he took the time to take a break, because it's good to take a break from things sometimes. Sometimes I even take a break from this show. Sometimes I even take a break from my favorite things in life. But I'm glad he's back, if he's back today. If he's not back this week, he's probably back next week, because he did confirm with us that he wanted to come back. He's ready. So whenever he is, I am very excited to hear his "Oh Rangers" voice. But unfortunately, Johnny Marble probably a little sad, right, Waff? Oh Rangers not really performing this year.
Yeah, he probably isn't too happy about that. But we shall see. We shall see. Maybe it'll do at least not total garbage by the end.
Well, listen, points-wise, all right, podium-wise, the O'Rangers can podium. It's very unlikely, but the O'Rangers could podium. They would need a gold.
True.
And we've been through 15 events, and the O'Rangers haven't put a gold up on the board. And that's what bothers me this season. We're going to get in emails in a second, sorry. But what bothers me this particular season, even if the O'Rangers did not get top 5 this season, even if the O'Rangers did not win this season, as the O'Rangers, they should put up at least one gold medal. They should put up one gold medal. I mean, come on, Waff.
I mean, yeah, it's very strange to see them in this situation. Like, this is normally not what happens, like, at all. We always expect them to kind of be up there, and they're not. It's just kind of strange to see.
And here's my biggest problem. They've had multiple chances. They've put themselves in position many times to get top 4, to get top 3, to get gold, and every single time, they have choked the medal. They have choked the opportunity. They start off in an event strong, they get to the next heat, and they look like they don't even know how to roll.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. I just don't, like, I haven't really thought about it. Like, I was kind of been thinking about how the other teams, like, how crazy is that these other teams doing good, but I never really stopped to think about, like, wow, the O'Rangers, right, like, this is very uncharacteristic. Like, what's the worst they've ever done? Actually, that's a good question.
I think they did
What's the
finish in
worst?
13th in 2017. No, not 2017. They finished 13th in 1 year. I don't remember what it was, like low in 1 year. And that's always, and every time people talk to me about our Rangers, they always default to that as like, okay, well, the Rangers weren't always good compared to like the Savage Speeders or the likes of such. But, and I don't remember what year that was. It might have been 2018. Someone would have to look into that.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. It's always so inconvenient with my computer in the corner.
Yeah. But with that being said, guys, we want to get into the emails to start. I'm a little upset about the Rangers. I could go on for hours about how much I am pissed about the Rangers. But that's not going to change anything. And I will talk fantasy before we get into events today. And I will take responsibility for bad picks. But we want to hear from you guys first. You can email us, mswpodcast@gmail.com. We will read your email. We will respond to it. If you ask a question, we'll answer it. If you give us information, we will respond to it. You can say whatever you want. You can tell us anything. Marble-related is nice, but hey, we're here to talk to y'all. So let's get to the first email, and this one's going to be a juicy one, Waff, all right?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Have you read it yet? You might want to summarize this one.
The old blue-eye drama?
Let me see here. I'm gonna switch to the other account.
Thanks for singing that to us. But while
No
he's
problem.
switching,
I'm very glad.
the first email that shows up for me is old blue-eye drama, subjected Grayson Rodriguez writing in. Thank you, and he gives us a link to something that I don't know if I'm gonna read right now, but I'll read his email.
This.
He says, "Pretty old news at this point, gents, but here's the official explanation by the JMA. This is for the blue-eye drama. Lots of precedents for this decision. I agree that they made the right call. The issue wasn't malicious or not malicious. It's about taking away other marbles' ability to compete. Their decision was consistent with other events. He's pro DNQ."
Yeah, the link leads to a video by Nova Wolf. I watched this a long time ago. Basically, they explain like that the decision was made based on precedent that was established before, and we've already discussed this last week about how like I'm like you don't really like that precedent, but like that is just that's what they set up. And they're gonna be consistent with it. So
I mean, and if,
I don't want to be.
I'll say a similar thing that I said last week. If that's the precedent they set up and that's the thing they will follow, then that's what they have to do to stay consistent. I mean, it is what they have to do because that's the precedent they determined to be how Marble League is run. And that's fine. And if you make that precedent, you have to follow it. But in my personal opinion, that precedent is useless and not a good precedent. And so I'm still going to argue that it's a wrong decision because I don't agree with the precedent they sent. I don't agree that if a collision on the course, which happens by the thousands in marble racing, happens in the exact position that a marble is removed from the track, that should cause this alarm for disqualification, especially if you can't provide a very thorough and just clear case that there was any malicious activity, any purposeful intent from the other marble. Especially when it comes to racing, where, like I said, you got to count collisions by heat. Marbles, it's constant. And I have everybody across my podcast. Waff disagrees with me. Let It Roll disagrees with me. We argued after the show. We debated. We had a great talk. Thanks, guys, from Let It Roll. I love y'all. Check out Let It Roll, by the way, because they're a good podcast.
Yeah. It's a fun
really
podcast.
Good.
I've been listening to it every week.
Do you know that they talk about marbles as if they were real athletes? Did you know that?
I didn't. That's a really cool idea. We should steal that.
Dude, yeah, like imagine like coming up with that idea, imagine coming up with that. Just like, we're going to talk about marbles and we're going to talk about them like the real athletes. Dude, those guys are crazy. But with that being said, we went on for 20 minutes about that last episode, so we're not going to do that again. And I will maybe I'll watch this Nova Wolf video later if I want to hear that, but I really get the gist of it. All right? And it's the precedent they set. But you have to agree with that precedent to agree with the opinion, to agree with the decision, and I do not. Let's go to the next email.
Okay, this is the one I was thinking about that you might want to just summarize.
No, I'm going to read it out. We've had longer emails, and I want to make sure I give fans the time. If they take the time to write us an email.
Oh, I think it was the next one. There are 2 long emails in here, but I think the next one is the longest, and that one it's just a whole lot.
All right, well, we'll see. You guys are in for an email or 2. So this one from Ahmed Stedman. And by the way, I have a friend whose name is Ahmed, and he told me to pronounce Ahmed. You're supposed to say, instead of saying Ahmed, you're supposed to say like you're drinking, like you just drank water and you're like, at the end of it.
Oh.
And and it's and then you say Med. So it's like Ahmed. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
A joke.
But that's how he told me I'm supposed to pronounce it. I don't know, maybe your name's a little different, but I'm hoping I did that right. I'm really hoping. Stedman, Mr. Stedman, thanks for emailing in. I think that's the first time. I haven't seen your name before. But he says, hello, new to your channel. Oh, well, it is the first time. New to your channel. Happened upon it when I was watching one of the Marble League events, and it came up as a YouTube suggestion. Wow, we get in the YouTube algorithms chat! As far as the ML expanding to 32 teams, okay. I was a proponent for it a long time because 28 was always an odd number of teams in my opinion. There's a lot more configurations JMA can do now with 32 teams. I watched you 2 debate about what the new format should be once they expand. If the JMA is keeping the Marble League to just 16 teams, then the ML Showdown will now be 16 teams. That is true. I think the top 3 finishers in ML should still auto-qualify. The host team should auto-qualify. The winner of the B-League Showdown should auto-qualify for the A-League. We'll talk about that in a second. Now, and the bottom 3 teams instead of the bottom 4 should be relegated to next year's Showdown. There will be 16 teams now in the Showdown, beating 15 other teams, no matter how lame they are, lame or not, is a feat and should be rewarded with an auto-qualify just to opine. Oh, what a word. Opine. Nice. Last, the triathlon and the elimination race should be mainstays in the Marble League every year. Those 2 events are always edge-of-your-seat entertainment. Thanks and love the channel. I'll start easy. Triathlon and elimination race are excellent. I rated a 10 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10, I think, for those 2 events. They are very good events. That is a classic example of creativity plus simplicity on JMR. So those events should stay. I agree. Waf, opinions on this? Because I'm gonna go on this, but I'm gonna let you put yours out.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that triathlon and elimination race are just so good that they really kind of should be mainstays. They probably won't be just because other mainstay events that normally are mainstays.
Like Collision, where was Collision this year? We had 15 racing events. You couldn't have thrown Collision in there? What, did they think soccer was the same thing? Man, I was upset. But
well,
more about the
I
teams,
enjoyed soccer, but we'll get to that later. In regards to the whole the format here, and so the main differences was I feel like relegating only 3 is a bit. I think that's too small. I think 4 should still be bottom 4. I do like the idea of auto qualifying the top 1 to actually give it an actual
but if you auto qualify the top 1, then to keep the even number of teams in the qualifiers itself, you can only relegate 3.
You might be right. I think you're right about that. Yeah. Okay. So fair. Well, then again, how many? They're not changing the format for the A League, correct? Like the A League stays the same.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Top 3 finishers should. Okay. Yeah. Top 3 finishers in ML will auto qualify. The host team will then qualify. Okay. So yeah, A League's the same. They changed the B League format. Okay. So yeah, I think that's a decent format idea. I'm okay with that one. What about you, Brendan?
Listen. And I'm always old-fashioned in this regard, so, it's always going to be tough to convince me. But last week we had an email that proposed that the top 2 teams from B-League should auto-qualify. Auto-qualify!
I don't know if it was an email, but it was definitely from it was just an idea S-Man threw around.
I think that was some idea that was thrown around that the top 2 teams from B-League should be treated in the same manner as the top 3 teams from A-League. And I of course disagree with that as me. I don't even want to call myself a marble courts connoisseur anymore because of the monstrosity, which is my fantasy team this year. But I will say I disagree with that. But here we have a proposed possibility that, and he gave some good points. 16 teams in the showdown is more than 12. And that means it's harder to be the top team. It's harder to be the top out of 16 than the top out of 12. And he says he only wants that top team to auto-qualify. What I think about that is this. I don't like it. I don't at all. I can't pretend like I like it. I do not. But you make a much better case to be on the way to possibly convincing me that I like it if you stick with this argument. Because at least you make sense. One, the top team out of 16? Yeah, they should be rewarded for that. Why should they be treated as the one who just squeaked by in 13th place? Why? But my problem with that is, again, this. If you do that, you treat the winner of a B League the same as the winner of an A League, and you then remove a spot that can be attained in the qualifiers, because now that's 5 spots auto-qualified. And then make it harder, even if it's minute, it's harder on the teams that made it to the A-League the previous year. Which means you're still rewarding a worse team on past performance recently than even the worst team in A-League, which is better, in theory, than the best team in B-League. Because if the best team in B-League was better than the worst team in A-League, then they would be in A-League.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, other ideas I've heard, I just don't know, but like maybe they get like a handicap in qualifiers, like they like 5 points or something like that. Like I'm not like I don't know the specific types of handicaps I've heard, but like that's an idea that I've heard thrown around. Like okay, if you're not gonna auto qualify the showdown winner, then at the very least the showdown winner should get some sort of boost in qualifiers to actually give him something.
I mean, I hear that, and that's my brain went there for a second too, because I like to consider all possibilities, and I'm like, okay, well maybe give him a little handicap, 5 points, even if 3 points is actually still pretty possibly effective. But I'm just like, why? Why treat them better than the teams who were good enough to make it to A-League? Why do that? All right? I mean, it just, they're 2 different leagues, 2 different skill sets. You don't have the same competition in B-League. And you know that. Because the Savage Speeders are never in B-League. The Rangers are never in B-League. All right? I mean, who else? I mean, Team Galactic, unfortunate for them. Same with Midnight Wisp. But, I mean, they just had a tough year. But then the Raspberry Racers are never in B-League. All right? Team Omo's never in B-League.
They were one time.
Okay, maybe one time. Sorry, I actually don't know. They were really in B-League?
Yeah, they didn't qualify for 2019, remember?
Oh, they didn't. Wow. No, but think about, but in general, just think about the really big names. They're not in B-League. And even the ones that did slip down there, it's once. And you saw how quickly Team Galactic and Midnight Whiffs are making their way out of B-League. If you look at the standings, they're up there, fat. All right, and they're going to be, they're going to be out of there. All right, and so B-League, especially when you talk about teams that kind of linger there, the bulk of teams in B-League are lingering teams that make it to the A-League less often than they don't, often stick to the bottom of A-League, and then drop back to B-League because they can't qualify. And those are the competition of B-League. So I need more, Mr. Ahmed Stedman. As far as really convincing me that we should auto-qualify the Showdown team. And I'm open to it. But right now, I still don't like it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. By the way, just thank you, Ahmed. I'm glad you're liking the channel. Hopefully, you'll continue to stick with us.
Ahmed, you really thank you for that email though. I liked you to go for that, to really bring that up and be like, dude, I got an idea and I got a reason. I'm not just going to say it. I got a reasoning. And you gave a reasoning. And you talked about it. And you deliberated it. And honestly, there are people who will agree with you. I mean, I'm just Marble Guy. I'm just me. I'm just sitting here yakking. It's just my opinion. Well written.
At the end of the day, we're just dudes at the end of 2 microphones screaming at each other.
I mean, for sure. But anyway, next email. This one's just subjected marbles.
Yeah,
just marbles.
Just to give you an idea of what you're getting into, Brendan, this is literally just this person like giving a recap of Bolt's entire career.
All right, well, you know what? Maybe we need some of that because I don't know anything about Bolt, honestly, because I don't really follow the Thunderbolts because they're like a shitty Team Galactic where they always kind of get the same place every year, but they're even worse than Galactic kind of thing usually. So they get like 7th every year. So I don't follow them very closely. My eyes weren't on them. But we'll see. I mean, the Rangers of one of the worst teams this year beat them in the soccer, so I'm just saying. All right. Dear MSWP. Hi, Steve. Thanks. Oh, no, this is actually Ethan, but he has Steve's email, so okay. Hi, it is Ethan again, and I'm writing in about Bolt and my fantasy team. So, 1, Bolt, and this is long. Bolt, the racer from the Thunderbolts has always been good at long-distance racing. Bolt's first long-distance race, the Sand Rally, back in 2019, he placed 7th in, which was at least a top-half finish. In Bolt's first M1 race, he placed 5th, and in his second, he placed 12th. He seemed like he was letting the Thunderbolts down, but it was uphill from there. At Greenstone, one of my personal favorite courses, by the way, Bolt placed 2nd, the first of any silver medals. The next track he faced was the Short Circuit, Thunderbolt's own M1 track. Yeah, I really like the Short Circuit. Remember the Short Circuit, Waff?
That was a good one.
The one that had that long straight and the really aggressive hairpins.
And the one where the limers got stuck at the top.
Yeah, Sublime, right? It's tough.
I believe so, Sublime.
Yeah. The Thunderbolts' own M1 track, right. He had a lot riding or rolling on him for this, as many home teams couldn't handle the pressure of hosting. He ended up placing 2nd, boosting the team to 6th place in the standings, which is usually about where they end. I'm just saying. His final race was at Midnight Bay, where he placed 9th. Overall, that season, he placed 11th, which put the Thunderbolts in 8th. In M1 season, he started out pretty bad with a 9th place finish. He remarkably did get fastest lap in that race, though. In the second race, he took the silver, and then did it again at Tumult Turnpike. The next race he competed in, he took bronze, followed by a 9th place finish. In the final race, he placed 7th, ending his season in 5th in the individual racer standings. I also look back at endurance events in 2020 and 2021. Bolt didn't compete in long-distance events in 2020, but did in the Winter Marble League Special. Bolt competed in the snowboard cross, and after 3 photo finishes, took 2nd, adding to his collection of silver medals. He does have a lot of silver medals. That's like a Thunderbolt trend. The highest they go is silver, usually. Finally, that brings us to this Marble League. The Thunderbolts chose Bolt for the elimination race, and it paid off. He got bronze for his team, moving them to 5th in the standings. Bolt is a consistent long-distance racer, and as long as there are endurance events, I think Bolt can do good. Listen, Bolt is a good teammate. Like, he really is. He does do well. My problem with Bolt, and actually for the most of the Thunderbolts, is that their best is usually silver. And if you want to, I agree he's a good player. Like, I agree. But if you want to talk about him as someone that should be really noticed as an unsung hero, which is maybe what you're doing here, you had a lot to say about Bolt, then I need to see some golds. Because you can't claim to be one of the best out there if you don't have some golds on the board. And that's really the problem with the Thunderbolts, why they always suffer overall. Like, they finish 6th, 7th, like, every year. Because they're not a bad team, but they just don't gold. They're never the best. So I think Bolt needs to work on that. I think he has promise. He does well. He does do well in a lot of events, and he's good at long-distance racing. I agree. He wasn't terrible in M1. Singularly, he finished towards the top, and there's like 40 single marbles. So if you finish above top 15, I mean, it's pretty good.
Yep.
But,
yeah. I'm basically the same thing. I'm not as harsh on Bolt, probably, but like, they definitely have potential. They could reach those lofty heights, I guess, of being one of the best.
Yeah, and time will tell. Savage Beaters might get old soon. I mean, they're not doing great this year. I mean, standings-wise, I personally think they'll finish top 5 again. But we'll see. It'd be funny if they come back and win. They could. All right, end of his email. Fantasy. Last time I wrote in, I sent you my fantasy team. As of Event 4, I have 1,073 points. Can you check how that stacks up against other people? Because I was too late to enter. Why not? Actually,
I checked. It was roughly around where I was after 14, which was either in the 70s. I think it was in the 70s. So
well, after
roughly
15,
in that area.
Oh, that would be after 14 then.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, I mean, not bad. I mean, you're doing better than me. Probably didn't times 3 your own Rangers. All right, moving on. Richard coming in. Oh my God! Now this one's an email, and he all caps the end of it. Okay. Format for soccer, because he did it all caps. I had to yell it. Richard Hinckley, thanks for writing in. He writes in a lot. He's a good emailer. He says, I'm not too fond of the single elimination format for Marble League type events. Standalone events are not so bad as in that case. You are only deciding a champion, not earning points for marble games. But with the Marble League, the draw is usually random or has nothing to do with the skill of the contents in the event. You could have the top two facing off in the first round. This is the format he would use. Round 1, 8 matches. Round 2, B-side. Round 1, loser. 4. Sorry, I'm getting so confused. Do you understand this?
No, I don't. I tried for a bit before the show, and I just couldn't do it.
Okay, format he would use. Round 1, 8 matches. So that's all 16 teams compete. Round 2, B-side. So it may be the losing side. All the losing side. So the round 1 losers. 4 matches. So 4 matches with the round 1 losers. 4 matches then with the round 1 winners. Round of 12. Round 2 B-side winners versus round 2 A-side losers. 4 matches, 4 matches. Quarterfinals, round 2 A-side winners of round of 12 winners. So what he's saying, he's just kind of giving everybody 2, is really what it sounds like. He's giving everybody 2 chances to compete. And I see why you would say that. I do. Because it's kind of annoying when, like, something more luck-based, like soccer, just, like, they do, like, a couple runs. Like, they do first half, second half, bam, you lose by 1 point. Wow, that sucks. I mean, that sucks. That's the worst. But, I mean, the video's long at that point. The video's really long at that point. And that does have a factor in it. You don't want the video to be up over 25 minutes. Or over 20 in JMR's case. I think I made that kind of unwritten rule. So I say no because of the video length, but I understand why you would make the claim because you want to see a less luck-based scenario because you're giving them 2 chances to really establish that they can be good at the event.
Yeah, but the email is just so confusing for me. Like, I imagine it would confuse the viewers probably too. Just the way it's described.
Yeah. I mean, it was said a little. It was formatted a little weirdly, but I think I got the idea. I got what he wanted, what he was going for. Which makes sense. I mean, you're trying to do the best to keep things fair and to keep things really make it fair. Really make it so that skill has to be shown. Right? Skill must be shown.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Agreed. Okay. Last email.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. So Adu writing. I love Adu. You know that? So Adu writes in and says, Sand Rally. He just knows subjects to the email, by the way. He just starts. Sand Rally. The proper one delivered. The scene of 4 marbles going airborne to try and get the second place is another one to try to enter people's memories. But also so many contenders failed to leave a mark to the point of even a coach lost a job, a poorly executed plot, but there's already so many discussion. Soccer or football, it's a different face for an already existing event, but the small changes were effective. The game was more attack-oriented with the opposite release gates. Yeah, that's true. The matches that shake the standings and the matches that shake the standings again. Yeah. I do want to talk about one thing. And maybe you can talk about what you know about the Rojo Cerro firing, Waf. But I do want to mention one thing about Sand Rally again this year. Last year there was no Sand Rally, and this year they finally do bring it back, and it's not the end of the Marble League. And unless Marble Cross is, because Marble Cross is new this year, it's not like the Marble 1 track. I think they're going to try to do something even crazier. But I mean, maybe it will be better. Maybe my mind will be changed. But I really want to see Sand Rally as the end. I think it's a fitting end to a Marble League. And so it's not fun for me. I don't like Sand Rally not at the end. Again, I'm more of an old-fashioned viewer. But that's what I think. But yeah, anyway, Woof, the Rojo Cerro.
Yeah, that's a whole thing, and I guess are we just gonna? I guess we're transitioning right into discussion about the event now, right?
I mean, yeah,
what's
just
happening
mention
here?
Rosero, and then we'll just kind of bleed into the event. The stuff for soccer you do, we're gonna mention when we talk about soccer in a second. So,
Okay.
let's just bleed right into Sand Rally. You can kick us off then, because remember, I'm gonna put up
Yeah.
here and we'll do ratings and opinions and everything.
Yeah, so I guess since we're on the topic of Rojo Cero, I'm not against the firing thing. Like we've had it before, and like it does add drama and story to it with an extra bit of narrative. It adds consequence to like the coaches on the wiki are only listed at 2019 because that's when coaches were created. But I don't,
Right.
so I don't think Rojo Cero actually was the coach of the team since the beginning. But like they were their first coach, and I can kind of get like all this time we haven't really been improving, but then they finally make it, but then also they're doing terribly, and like but firing them does add like to the narrative, and like the coaches were already there for immersion to begin with. Like they don't actually do anything going out of role play here, so like utilizing them for more story stuff like this makes sense. I have heard like Let It Roll discuss this quite a bit. I would say that they shouldn't have done it right in the middle of the event. It really kind of should have happened after the event. I feel like it's kind of in poor taste to kind of put them on blast right then and there. And like you wait for the smoke to be cleared. Like
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I almost said maybe wait till the end of Marble League, but then again, they did that. I think they did it in Event 14 when they fired Tide as well. So this is just kind of how the managers like to do things. It seems it is and like the Rojo Rollers, they did do better in soccer, but that's probably more due to the fact that it's a new event for everybody than them actually being improved by a new coach after a few days of coaching.
Yeah. I mean, I think the drama's good. I think but they have the wrong balance. I think that if you want to really do something like fire a coach, okay, let me dive into roleplay for a second, then I'll come back out. Diving into roleplay, I don't like the firing because Rojo Rollers haven't been to A-League in a long time. So to fire the coach his first year in is in poor taste, I feel, and not necessarily the best decision, especially mid-season. If you're going to fire Rojo Cero, do it after the season. Or, because I mean, what are you putting a new coach in for Event 15? I mean, let's be honest, guys. I'm going to turn my idea out the wall. What are we putting a new coach in? The Rojo Rollers, going into Event 14, already couldn't even win the Marble League. So it wasn't like the new coach was put in place to possibly save the season.
Right.
Because there
like,
was
what's
no
the
winning
point?
possible.
They couldn't even make the podium.
Yeah, they couldn't even. Yeah, and I mean now they can't even make the podium. So I mean, it wasn't a useful fire. I mean, to mid-season fire. If they're gonna dramatize Marble Sports, which I like because it adds to it, because now we can talk about Rojo Cero being fired, and we talk about whoever got Oceanics coach, whichever one got fired. I forget the name. Like we talk about that. We can be like, that a good move, blah, 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 whatever. But at least make it make sense. Who's gonna put a new coach in for 2 events that don't matter?
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you think about it that way. Yeah.
And listen, I think Rojo Cero. Well, here's 2 things. Well, anyway, so in roleplay, that's what I think. So that was a stupid decision, and in roleplay, probably at the end of the season would have made sense, or maybe give him one more chance if they stay in the A-League next year. Like, maybe I would fire him end of the season, or if they didn't qualify 2022. That would be my move, because those would make sense. But coming out of roleplay, I think JMR, if they want to do this, they should do it. They should dramatize. I mean, I don't know if they're going to go as far as interview the marble and put a voice behind it, because that, they don't do that stuff. But at least, like, maybe have a couple text bubbles to make it funny, or, like, dramatize it visually, like, have, like, a full 30 seconds of the video where the Rojo Cero is being removed and a new marble is being put in, and the marbles are lining up differently to respect the new coach, or just something where we're like, okay, this is a thing. The other marbles are engaged in the firing process. It's not like like if you ever watch sports, like if you're watching a baseball game or something, and then while you're watching it, at the bottom like the bottom inch of the screen, like scores from other games will scroll by, and you just know the score. You don't know anything about the game. You just know what the score is. Maybe some text will roll by, and that's kind of how all that stuff is right now. How the firing is, it kind of just rolls. It shows on the screen for a second. Greg Woods would be like, "Oh well, Rojo Sarah, blah blah blah," and it seems like he take it out mid event. But I think that they need, if they're gonna do it. Take 30 seconds and do it, and then it would be more worth doing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, EG brings up a good point that like they'd already exceeded expectations by qualifying in the first place. So they're already trending better than they were before. Even if they're doing bad this year, yes, it's better than not being in Marble League at all.
A live chat based on time at this point. Yes, we will do the trivia submitted by Super Yak, one of the most well-crafted trivia creators in marble sports. But I mean, Rojo Rollers, they weren't in A League for a while. In role play, I mean, you got to give them a chance. And they're struggling. A lot of these events were new. I don't know if the fire was right. I think the fire after a bad qualifiers 2022 would have made a lot more sense. In role play. Not in event 14 when the rollers are all out on the podium.
But I guess getting away from the whole firing thing, the event itself, that was really good. Like you could never actually know who was going to win until the end. Like Momo led the beginning of their heat and they fell to the back, and the same thing happened with Clementon in the final heat. Like they were leading the pack at the start, but then they were I think they were almost last place by the end. It's like you really couldn't, there's no way to know. It was always up in the air, and that made it very exciting.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sand Rally was fun to watch. It always is fun to watch. That's why it should end the Marble League, because there are a lot of lead changes. There are a lot of places where marbles will hit slow or fast patches. And so it's a fun one. But no, I mean, there's not many buts. It's fun. Obviously, I was upset at the Rangers. It was odd that the Crazy Cat's Eyes won, but they're a good racing team. But that one really kind of shook up the standings a lot for placements and stuff, and you see Momo slowly but consistently, unfortunately, dropping away from the lead, and which is a shame. But yeah. I mean, I don't know if you threw your rating out, Walk, but I'll throw mine out. I mean, Sand Rally, it belongs in Marble League. It has a place in Marble League. Normally, I'd give it a 9 out of 10 because it was misplaced. It was misplaced. It should be the end. And I might change my opinion if Marble Cross with Kinetic Sand is amazing. Maybe, we'll see. But right now, I think Sand Rally still should be the end. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Fun event to watch.
We also kind of forgot to mention the 4-way photo finish for second place in the final heat. That was just crazy. Like they were leaping over the line. Like that was a hectic finale.
And that's why it should be the final event, because the speed gained in and this is just the natural pitch of the hill, but the speed gained in the Sand Rally lends itself to even an airborne finish. And just the way the stand is set up, marbles are going to move at a similar pace, and you will have close racing at the end. It's somewhere in the pack. Yeah, having a photo finish of 4 where it's like, I don't even know who won yet and who got, like, at 6, because like it drops down quite a bit 5th. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Marble Cross fills the void, if it's really good or not. But rating wise, I think it's a 9 for me.
No, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's a good event.
Yeah, pretty good.
What about soccer?
Well, how about we do a trivia to bridge the two?
Oh, you're in a trivia mood there, Mr. Waff.
Yeah, we only have one. But hey.
I mean, I'll read it out if you want. So, trivia music. Play music. Did we do it yet?
Finally! Now it's time for the trivia segment. Come on now, let's go, go, go. Go, go, go.
It's time for the trivia segment. Alright, actually play the real music now. Alright, I think we're out of the music. I don't know. Did the music play yet? Alright. So we have trivia this week. We have one. It's from Super Yak. We will be getting back into me and Waff coming up with trivia, but that's more when Marble League calms down. And we have less to do on the show, so more segments will return. So for now, we're just going to go with Super Yaks, who's very kindly set this in. Difficulty extreme, he puts it as. And here's the question. There are 6 M1 individual racers who scored points in only one race. Name the racer, the season they competed in, and which race they scored in. Holy crap. Hint, 3 from each season. Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. There was... It was one of the Jungle Jumpers.
Well, both of the Jungle Jumpers, I think.
The Jungle Jumper, I think it was Leap, who that happened with in season 2.
What was bad season 1 like that? That's a good question.
I don't think it was the Limers because they qualified for a lot of races, didn't they?
I don't think the Limers were ever... Actually, the Limers are not the worst showdown team. They really aren't. Oh, were the Hornets sucked season 1, right?
Oh, you're right. You're right. The
Yeah,
Hornets did
bad.
suck.
Yeah, they were bad. So I would go both Hornets team, both Hornets marbles, both Jungle Jumpers marbles. Hornets marbles being season 1, Jungle Jumpers marbles being season 2. I would throw Cobalts in for season 1 and Pinkies in for season 2. One of the Pinkies, one of the Cobalts, and fuck me if you think I'm gonna know what races those are, because I don't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is
But even if I get the marbles right, like we'll go with Azure from the Cobalt, or I'll go with Cerulean. No, Cerulean's good. Azure from the Cobalts, and I'll go from Pinky Toe. No, the Pinkies weren't in M1, were they? Season 1? Oh, season 2? Were they in?
I don't know, but if you're gonna say both Hornets for season 2, then there's because Leap I know only got one race. They only qualified for one. I know that for a fact.
No, I'll say Bumblebees for season 2. And I forget who. Just one of the Bumblebees.
I'll say Leap for season 2. Race Electric Boogaloo, because there's no way I'm gonna actually know.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
I don't even remember the names of some of the choruses, my guy. Like, no joke. I don't. The Jungle Town. I don't know what the jungle map was. I forgot.
Okay, well.
Hornets at Hive Drive was one of them, but I don't think they did bad. Did they do bad at Hive Drive? No, they didn't. They did not.
Don't know.
I
mean, the Hive Drive. Yeah, Hive Drive was that
Hornet Stingy Boy, because I don't remember we can look up the competitors.
Waspy, Hornet.
Waspy. Well, Waspy did bad at I don't know. Motorway. I don't know.
Probably.
Then Minty Maniacs, Minty Fresh only did 1 point at the primary park. Sure. Season 1, let's go. Sublime, I think at Midnight Bay. Then we had dude, this is garbage. This is terrible.
Season 1 is the Hornets. Season 2, the Hornets didn't compete.
Yeah, no, that's why I said season 2 for Hornets.
Why would you say season 2 for Hornets? Season 2, Hornets didn't compete in season 2.
Yeah, they did. That's when they showed up.
Oh, is that really true?
Yeah, they weren't in season 1.
Oh, you're right. Season 2 just feels so long ago, I guess. Okay,
Race
so I guess
Force,
for me,
thank you, Flair.
It would be no, but if it's Hornets season 2, then I would go both Jungle Jumpers and one of the Hornets. And then for season 1, I'd have to go I'd go another Jungle Jumper, so maybe Leap or Hop again, and then like the Cobalts. I feel like the Cobalts sucked season 1.
I'll go with I guess I'll go one of the Cobalt Cerulean, sure. With no, Mary. But no, Mary got Mary got more points. Mary got
maybe.
points.
Listen, I'm gonna go Bumblebees and Hop for season 1, and Hornets and Hop for season 2. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, there's 6, so
that's
and
6.
Three for each season.
3 for each season. I just said that.
Okay. Well, okay. Yes, I said my first 2 for season 2. I don't remember what they were, but the YouTube listeners, you'll know what it is. You'll know for me. So season 1, Sublime, sure, not Short Circuit. They didn't even finish that race. I think I said Midnight Bay. Yeah, just throwing out a spitball. Cerulean, sure, did bad at. I wish my face cam was on. I'm making some stupid faces, man.
Oh yeah, I wish it was. I'm sorry about Wasp's face cam being out of commission yet again.
It sucks.
He's a little bit of an annoying guy.
Cerulean did bad at Raceway, sure, and then finally last one on the list. Oh, I don't know. The Roho Rollers were there, I think. Yeah. Roho Toes did bad at
Greenstone.
Greenstone
wasn't
the green duck track. That trackety track. That one with
Greenstone,
the duck
dude.
in the turn. The what?
Greenstone.
See, I marble connoisseur am I.
Dude, this is a hard question. He said extreme. So
this question is ridiculous.
Well, I'm gonna check the answer. That was probably the longest time you've taken to give a trivia answer, but let's check the answer. Here we go. All right, so we got Shock, Sublime, and Snowflake from season 1. Shock at the Short Circuit, Sublime at the Mo Motorway, Snowflake at the O Raceway. So I was wrong about all of those. You got Sublime though.
I was right about a jungle jumper, but I didn't have the right name. It wasn't Leap wasn't even in there.
Yeah, for season 2 though, Hop, we did get Hop, so I got 1. Lemon Lime season 2, and Skip, which is the other jungle jumper from season 2 as well. So Misty Mountain or Raceway respectively. So that's a hard question. If you got that, if you're listening to this and you got that question, then you know a lot. Like, I don't even know how. Like, that's very... Even if I can memorize, like, most of the things in Marble League, to put that all together, like, that's a tough question. So, good job if you managed that. With that being said, play the end of the trivia music. Man, that was a weird question.
That was the trivia segment. Now let's head back to the show. The show. Oh,
Right, Waff?
that was. I was.
You just went silent. I guess you're letting the music play.
What you always do? Like, did the music play yet? Did the music play yet? That's what I'm always waiting for.
I just wanted to get back to the final event so we can get that in due time.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go.
Because I also have to not apologize, but take responsibility for my bad picks this year. So here we go, guys. Let's go to soccer. Back from the music. Music was inserted somewhere. But we're gonna jump into it. Soccer. I'm gonna let Waff go first. Talk about how you feel about soccer.
So soccer was interesting. I remember when I was watching the premiere, it wasn't until the second run between the Razzie Racers and the Shining Swarm that I realized that they actually put rolling. It's 2 on each side from each team, and they put them on the side for the goal that they are aiming for. And it's like, oh, that's really good. That actually makes it a lot easier to avoid own goals. It still happened, but I think it did help. The event itself was very interesting to watch because of the upset at the beginning. A lot of the big name teams were taken out of the running pretty early, so excuse me. it led to some very interesting competition where like you didn't know like how this is going to affect the overall standings. One thing that really surprised me, and I'm like, this is something I didn't think I'd ever say. The Limers are amazing at soccer.
Well, they
Like,
were for the one round.
But well, like against the Glen Glaciers, even though they lost, that was a fantastic battle between the two of them. Like,
Yeah,
that
and the
last
Glen
second
Glaciers did
goal
go
to
on
save
win,
it?
so they must have been. Yeah, the Limers did better than expected at soccer.
yeah, sure. Like, since it's a new event, maybe like they won't do good next time once everyone's got experience. But honestly, I'm very proud of the Limers. Even though they didn't make it past the second heat, they did really well. They had the best performance in the entire event. I enjoyed that one between them and the Glen Glaciers the most. Not a single one. Like, there was no other one that really got me as invested as that one. I liked that. That was fantastic.
No, yeah, there were some really close rounds, and that was a really good battle. And I think the Limers. Well, I mean, I'm a big Limers fan. I have a Limers shirt. So I mean, I am one. It's just that like I understand that the Limers aren't going to be big winners most of the time, and something we pull for. But yeah, I'm patient with them, and they may not go on my fantasy team for a couple of years, but I'm glad that they had a good. When I saw them get 4 points, I was like, "Damn, Limers, come on, man!" That was very exciting for me. But yeah, I agree. I noticed that. I do want to point out 2 things that were new about this year's soccer. Well, 3 things. Wolf said one of them. I mean, not that aren't just aesthetic. There's a lot of new aesthetic, of course, to the soccer. They have the new soccer balls instead of marbles, so that's cool. But actual functional differences. Okay? Number 1, they put Legos under the goal. And they didn't do that usually. They just had flat land. And that doesn't affect the game that much, but it does keep the balls from inside from ever having that one mini possible chance of bouncing out. If the ball like streaks towards the goal, it's not going to bounce out. And they don't want it to bounce out and then get stuck to the magnetized goalie. So it was a smart decision to go with Legos down there. Number 2, there's a lip between the edge of the goal and the side of the arena. The marbles can't just roll down the side and fall in the goal. You'll see that many times as you watch. So if like a soccer ball's in the corner and it rolls towards the goal, it can't just fall in. There's a little bit of a lip. So it makes it harder to score goals because a lot of goals are scored from just slow rolling to the finish there. But it does add to the challenge of it. You really have to be direct with your hits. You can't just get lucky that all the soccer balls kind of land badly but then all roll towards the goal, which I think is a good change, but also like a change I was like, oh wow, that's different. And of course, like Waf said, the marble orientations were set up so that the each team was towards its own the opposing goal. Those were good differences. They raised the quality of soccer, which is a cool event. It's a different event. Obviously, I'm really upset about the Rangers. I mean, how do you lose to the Chocolatiers? And like again, they put themselves in a place to get to the end, and they lose to an easy team. They lose to a team that, while decent at soccer, they're not a team that should be. They're not a team I say like, oh, that one, yeah, that. I mean, now it's not like trying to beat the Savage Beaters, right? Who, by the way, also didn't do very well, but besides the point. Like it's not a great team, the Chocolatiers. The Rangers should have had some ability to just get it done. They've had a tough season. They needed to do something good this event. Not exciting to see that.
Yeah, I mean, but like another thing you forgot to mention was like the way the goalies worked this time was different. Like instead of using those really tiny like magnetic ball bearings, they use like I think there's just regular plastic balls, right? The soccer balls, but like the goalies had like some sort of adhesive strip on the front of them, so that way they could catch not just the balls but also other marbles, which I thought was really cool. Like it allowed that way it allowed them to use bigger projectiles for the actual balls instead of using those really tiny little like
that's
beads
true.
that
Yeah.
like
The ball
just
bearings
like,
that are
fly
metal
past you.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. The adhesive, if you actually look at it, is a white strip on the front. It's towards the front. It's not around the whole thing, which makes sense. Goalies can't. I mean, a real goalie very rarely can make a save when he's not looking at it. So I mean that I don't know. That was a nice small, but you're right. Well, very important touch.
Yeah, like the ending itself, like like the Gliding Glaciers have a gold. That was their first goal. I think is that their first gold ever?
Yeah, that is their first goal. Actually, I'm getting final standings up here just so we can take a look.
Like, not just in ML 2021. I think it's their first goal in anything.
Yeah, that is
ever.
their first goal ever. And do you know what the freaking crazy thing is? The Gliding Glaciers, and they're not a bad racing team. I'm just putting it out there. They could win ML 2021, which is crazy to think. They jumped 7 spots.
It's absolutely insane. Like
they're in 4th place.
Like the top 5 is made up of previous champions, veterans who haven't been doing too good, but have been like in the past, but have been like improving, and then a full blown rookie team. Like we have it all. We have it all.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because we got racers. So that's a possible repeat. Hazers, just a solid team that is newer but hasn't had the chance. Mellow Yellow, a veteran team who has been pulling for a possible win for a long time. Gliding Glaciers, a team fresh off the boat. Team Momo, similar to Mellow Yellow. Thunderbolts, a team, I guess, similar to Mellow Yellow and Team Momo in the sense that they're veteran and they've been working hard. Cat's Eyes are actually in there somehow. I don't know how, but they have 2 golds and they're in there. They're the team that some other people predicted. Savage Speeders are actually in there, at least to top 3. They could win, but and so we have a possible repeat 2 times in a row champion. I mean, they're all in there. I mean, honestly, 9, 10, 11 aren't really in it. Green Ducks would really need a lucky situation, and they're probably not going to win Marble Cross, to be real. And Chocolatiers and Shining Swarm definitely won't be winning Marble Cross. But I could see any of these top 8 teams getting a lucky start and really pushing out a win right here. Am I worried about the Savage Speeders not finishing top 5? No. No, I am not.
Really?
I am not, because they are not that far away from 5th. They are not. They're only a few points. All they need to do is finish high in the standings, like in the top 5 in Marble Cross, and they probably will finish top 5 because of the way just general standings shake up. They'll pass a few teams.
Unless they put Rapidly in.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends on who they pick. I think Speedy should be picked. Speedy should be picked for this event. If you're a Savage Speeders coach and you don't pick Speedy...
I say that about Rapidly just because, like, from what we've heard about it, it sounds like Marble Cross is literally just Marbula 1, but apparently with just all kinetic sand.
Which is pretty cool, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, that actually is pretty cool. I won't deny, but, like I guess we've never seen them race on a complete kinetic sand track. It's always been partial with a raceway, so... Heck, actually, wait, Rapidly didn't even race a raceway.
I don't remember.
Right?
I don't know. No, you know what? He did. Was a raceway the second? Yeah, because he raced second. Speedy always started off, so I think he did race a raceway.
Well, no, didn't Rapidly get injured in the very first race of season 2?
What? I thought that was Speedy who got stuck.
I might be wrong about that. Like maybe Rapidly got raced in the first season of Raceway.
I don't know. I don't remember. I think he raced on a raceway before, and I don't remember his sand performance. But then again, all sand is a lot
apparently,
different.
According to Super Yak, both versions actually. Oh, yeah. So we have seen him race on partial sand before, just not.
I'd have to
in
see
a
their
full
placements in that. Maybe I'll even pull that up now that we're on the subject. Marbula 1,
second in season 1 and 16th in season 2.
Well, good thing we got a live chat because I was about to look that up.
Yeah.
Well, those are very lopsided, and well, I mean, with those numbers though, am I opposed to even throwing Rapidly in this? No, I mean they have a second, and Rapidly had, like I said, had a terrible season 2, but they could bounce back here with this one. But I honestly, like, if I'm the coach right now, I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna take Speedy by the shoulder and be like, listen, man.
The shoulder?
Marble's got shoulders. I'm gonna be like, listen, Speedy. We are the Savage Speeders, and we probably not gonna win this year. It's been a tough year for us. We've been up and down, but we are the Savage Speeders. We've never finished below top 5, and you are the best player on our team. Come on, Speedy's the best player on the Savage Speeders, obviously. Go out there and just do enough to maintain our reputation. If you win and we somehow win the Marble League, well, everyone's going to hate us. But great. Just go out there.
Imagine.
And maintain the top 5 so that I don't hate myself as a coach. And Speedy going to be like, listen, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fucking do that. Okay, so that's why I would put Speedy in. All right.
Apparently, Rapid League actually is the best in ML. They have like 5 podiums, 157 individual points or something. So
But based on his Marbula 1 performance, I would definitely put Speedy as a better overall athlete.
Well, I mean, remember though. Well, I guess overall for everything, then yes. But like, I'm like looking at just at ML because ML. Like, well, this is also it is going to be an M1 in styled event again, based on what we've heard. So, dude, this is a very this okay. Event 16 is going to be absolutely wild. Like, I have no idea what to expect. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat the entire time, dude.
I'm not even going to be on my seat. I'm going to be pacing.
I'm going to try not to do that because I'm going to probably record a reaction for it because it seems like this is going to be something that's going to be insane.
If we're both not busy, maybe we can both do a reaction thing for it. That would be fun. No, you know what, though? I think I'm actually like working up until 12 noon on Tuesday, so it would be
That's fine. We can do separate reactions.
Yeah. That's cool.
Like, man. Oh, I guess get back to the event itself. Yeah, it was fun. In terms of improvements, it's I mean, if you look at soccer just like as them improving upon hockey, they have improved it quite a bit. Is there room for more improvement? That's the question.
In soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't do the ratings on that. We'll get to the standings in a second, but we'll do the ratings real quick. And then we'll talk about improvements. I want to throw out, I mean, this was a decent event. Soccer, it's fine. I'll give it a 7. It's a cool event.
Yeah, 7 sounds good. It was fun. I had some really great moments, but it still went by kind of fast at times, and it did suck, admittedly, when like a team like, oh, they just had 2 runs and they're out. Okay, goodbye. It's like,
yeah, it's like you see the team for a couple seconds. I mean, they need to know how to lengthen the play time for each marble, but still keep the video the same length, which is kind of hard. But here's the big improvement, and I know we talked about this last time soccer was a thing. And this is obviously a very large jump in the event because this is a completely different thing you have to set up. But I'd like to see it like an air hockey table kind of thing where marbles can move freely and soccer balls can move
we've
freely.
talked about this.
And you kind of have the soccer balls in the middle, you have the marbles on the outside, you kind of ram them together, and you give it like 30 seconds to settle or something like that. And see if the marbles can make a goal. Because if they do it right and there's really no friction, the marbles will be moving at pretty high speeds, or at least some of them will for a while. Maybe put a couple spinners, dare I say it, at the edge to keep marbles moving. But just something where there's more action. It's not just like sliding down a hill kind of thing. And that's obviously that's the best they could do now because soccer in marble sports is the most fucking whack thing on the planet. That's like let's be real. By the way, F word counter. I said it 3 times this episode. I haven't said it in about 100 episodes. So sorry about that. I'm upset that the O'Rangers, like, they're in 13th, man. They can't even win. Like, I'm very pissed about that. So sorry. But, it is a whack event. It's a very odd thing to try to put into Marble League. So it's cool that they can even do what they do. But obviously, if they can at some point take the time and make that big jump to something even crazy and more free move, that would be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but like we've always also discussed it, like the amount of effort and money that would go into making like that big old field that we talked about like way back when, it basically just need to be like its own like what I lost the word. No. You do the thing where like you emphasize a certain points and how did this happen? Why? Like it's like where you're prioritizing. You focus on one thing only. Like where it's focused just on hockey. There we go. Focus. Sure. I don't think that's the word I was thinking of, but whatever. It kind of works. But like a channel that's focused only on like either marble, soccer, or hockey would put that much effort and money in. My word, my brain is shot.
No, I know what you mean, and it's by the way, thank you to one of the Let It Roll members for showing up to the show in the live chat. Sorry to hear that Decker's computer died. That sucks. Rip Decker. But you should check out Let It Roll, by the way. If you didn't, you should. But yeah, I don't know. I think obviously the step forward for soccer is very expensive and time consuming, but that would be the step forward. I mean, it really would. You can make small improvements, like very tiny things like ball size, goal size, strength of the goalie, positions of the marbles as they enter, maybe go a little diagonal towards the center to give marbles really length to kind of move around. Something
Make
like
a way for the goalie to move somehow.
Yeah, somehow maybe decrease the incline towards the goal so marbles still roll there, but you have a little more time for things to go on. Something like that. But like, those are small things. It's the same idea. If you want to take it to the next level, of course, that's more expensive and very time consuming, but it could be cool. And
I just had like a super crazy idea. Like I thought at first I was like, just put a servo and like have the marble goalie move back and forth on a pattern. But it's like, if you really want to go really advanced with this, you put like an IR sensor or something on it so it detects movement, so it actually tries to move towards the ball like a real goalie.
That's actually really cool, and that would actually be high tech, and you'd have to attach them to marbles, but that could be really cool. And like,
but it would be so cool
if you could set the sensor forward a bunch so that it would actually be able to move in time sometimes. That would be really fun. I guess
the problem would be like it would have to probably be a different kind of sensor that detects color, because otherwise it would just pick up the marble and then run towards the marble instead of the ball at times. So it's not perfect. There are definitely some issues to work out, but that's what brainstorming is. You just throw out ideas, and then once you find your good ideas, you then figure out how to make them work.
I agree. You got to start with a base of just, this is a weird thing I'm thinking of. Let's go from here, right? That's how you do ideas, correct? But yeah, I like that, and I think, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about soccer and expansions upon it in a future episode when there's less going on. But that is, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. You could do a ton with it, and if you really put all the time and effort, you're right, you would want to make a whole series just based on soccer. If you really complexed it to sensors and free roll and things like that, then things would get kind of crazy. But I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. I think we're done with this soccer. Let's talk about like the overall standings. Who we think is gonna win this? Because like seriously, this is like, just to put into perspective, Momo, if they got first, they would have like an over 10-point lead over the Raspberry Racers if they got last, which is quite substantial for a competition like this. Normally, it's not that close between fifth and first. Like it really is like open to quite a few.
I mean, let's think for a second. Let's talk about points. Let's talk about them. Okay. So 25 is the first place, of course, and then it goes 20, then 15, then 12. So if a team gets first and the teams at the top do not also podium, then you're looking at the teams being over 10 points away from gold. So 12 is 13 away from gold. If you go to final standings here, let me get there. Sorry, I'm pulling that up. So if you go to final standings here, let's say let's talk crazy. Let's talk crazy. Let's go Green Ducks, which I don't think we have much chance. But let's see Green Ducks pop a 25. Okay, 33, 43, 53, right? So 153, 158. They're actually only a couple points above the Raspberry Racers and the Hazers, who could still win with a fourth, but down to fourth, fifth place. Ducks only need them to not podium. If you go up a little bit, even if we look at Savage Speeders, they're the ones to watch right now. 37, 47, 57, and then 5 more gives you 62, 162. If Savage Speeders get first with 162. Then Raspberry Racers, of course, Raspberry Racers can still win with a decent performance, and they might, by the way. But below them, I mean, 62 is about 13 more than 149. Actually, it is exactly 14 more than 139. 13 more than 149. Which means even if the Hazers get fourth place, if the Savage Speeders win, the Hazers won't win. So, I mean, for Savage Speeders, if they get first, and listen, the Savage Speeders, they could get first. Really, they could. Then they only need the Raspberry Racers to finish below fourth.
That's true.
It's crazy.
Dang.
So the Raspberry Racers have a moderately shitty race, and the Savage Speeders win. Well, the Savage Speeders are your first 2 times in a row champions, and that's down to 8th place. We're talking 8th place in the standings right now. I mean, upwards, it just gets easier, and that's why I'm like, whoa.
To Shining Swarm too.
Yeah,
because Shining Swarm is tied with them.
Dude, Shining Swarm, are they going to come out and win Marble Cross? Come on.
I don't know.
I mean, I do.
You have seen this season.
Yeah, but it's Shining
It's
Swarm.
bonkers.
I mean, like, I could see it from Gliding Glaciers. I could see it from Thunderbolts. But what I'm saying is that this is really cool because we could get a very unexpected team to be the winner because you could just be a fortunate race for. Dude, I would love to see Gliding Glaciers and Mellow Yellow win.
That would be crazy, man. That would be something else.
Listen, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it because we should throw out predictions. Before I do this, though, I want to get this out. The other thing I need to say, because this is part of my responsibility as a Marvel Sports podcaster to say this. I made mistakes. I mean, I claimed at the beginning, and I do claim that I have helpful and fair information regarding how you should pick your fantasy team. I've claimed that. I have claimed that multiple times. And I think I do. I think when I say something like Savage Speeder should always be on your team, I'm kind of right. I mean, they did get 2 gold medals this season, so I am kind of right. All right? But I made a bad pick with the O'Rangers. I did not do enough. I think I didn't look into it enough. I really didn't. I didn't see the potential of these other teams. I mean, we talked about Raspberry Racers, Mellow Yellow for a second in the fantasy. Like, wow, they did well in the qualifiers. And they're both in the top 3 right now. And I slept, I mean, I did pick the Raspberry Racers, but I slept on both of those teams as even touching my multipliers. Because I was so like, well, Rangers, I mean, they almost won last year. So that's my bad. I mean, Waff was right. He said he think the Rangers. I mean, and actually you guys were right, because I think some of you guys were like, Rangers are going to have a downturn because that was similar pattern to their first downturn. They did well, and then they go down. They did well, they got second last year, they're going to go down. So that, I mean, you guys were more right than me. But Rangers was a bad pick. As for the other picks, I mean, Cat's Eyes could win. Savage Speeders could win. So those are, I can't say those are bad picks. Gliding Glaciers and Raspberry Racers could win. Actually, very easily. So
yeah, your sleeper pick was way better than my sleeper pick.
What was your sleeper pick again?
Rojo Rollers.
Oh my god, dude, that's why you're not up in them standings. Oh, wow. Dude,
I mean, I'm still doing better than you.
Dude, I told you put your money on the team you know nothing about. Rojo Rollers, you
That's
know
what
that.
I did!
Oh, man. No, but you didn't. Because Rojo Rollers, like, have a... Like, you don't... Rojo Rollers are crap, man. Like, they're consistent crap.
Whatever. I mean, you're not wrong, but...
Listen. And, I mean, I'm not too down on myself because 4 of the teams out of the 5 that I picked could very well win Marble League. And based on the event coming up, these 4 teams are the 4 teams I expect to be competing highly. Raspberry Racers, obviously a good racing team. Savage Speeders, come on. Crazy Cat's Eyes on sand, they're good. They won Sand Rally, all right? Let's just be aware of that. So it's very possible for all 3 of these teams to, 4 of these teams to win. Gliding Glaciers, again, have been a pretty good racing team. They're a fast team. So, I mean, money could be on them. So, I'm happy with those 4 picks. But where it sunk was why I put my 3 times multiplier, which I told you was a very important pick, and I threw it on the O'Rangers. And it was bad. It was unthought out. I should have threw it on something like, I mean, even if I threw it on Crazy Cat's Eyes, then I would be at least in okay standing. And I almost did. I was almost convinced to, but I didn't. So, I have to take responsibility for that bad pick. But other than that, I mean, obviously we'll deliberate more when the season's over. But for now, just putting it out there. Waff, wow, we're somehow overtime again. But Waff, why don't you? Yeah. We'll end off with predictions for. We'll do a top 3. You'll pick your most likely, second most likely, third most likely from the current standings, and I'll do that, and then we'll end out.
All right.
You can explain reasoning if you want. Up to you.
My number 1 is still Raspberry Racers, just because that feeling that I had since the beginning is still here. And they, like, even though the lead over to second place is not substantial, especially by Marble League standards, it is still more than the gap between pretty much everybody else. So they have, like, and like as you said, like the only one that like can really challenge, like, who can be a problem for other competitors, like even if like the Savage Speeders got first place, like they need the Raspberry Racers to do a lot worse to actually still lose, or sorry for them to actually still win it. So like the Raspberry Racers still have a decent hold on that championship, as long as they can just have a good performance to next week.
The
so
right marbles aren't in first, right?
Yeah, so they have the best the widest margin for error.
Yeah.
Even if it's not too big, they still have the best chances of doing it. I would say, am I feeling Glaciers or Mellow Yellow more? I think I'm feeling Mellow Yellow has just been surprising me recently. I think Mellow Yellow has the second best chance. I guess actually just going this way, I think Raspberry Racers will be at first place, Mellow Yellow gets second, and I think Momo will get third.
Well, I mean, it's possible. Momo's not even that bad a racing team, but they did terrible in the Sand Rally, so
yeah.
So, I mean, you got to be aware of that. I mean, those are not bad predictions, though. Momo's kind of a very up and down team. You can't always pin it.
It is like,
yeah.
Like, well, the thing is, like, the thing is that like I didn't think that this would be their year when I did the fantasy.
Oh my god, I did.
And but they did so much better than I expected. And like, I feel like I need to go a little bit against my own gut when it comes to Momo.
You know what
right
it is,
now,
though?
Because
you know what it is, and I say this time and time again, and everyone always says that this is not important. You don't necessarily need this. But what does Team Momo had an amazing year. What did they lack? What did they lack compared to all the other teams who are doing better right now? Gold medals. I mean, Raspberry Racers only have one, granted. But if you want a Team Momo at the top right now, what did they need to stay up there? Another gold medal, and they don't have it. And that's a problem. So, I mean, of course, you could argue Raspberry Racers have the same medal count, and they're leading. But I'm saying I'm talking from the perspective of we're talking Team Momo dominating here. They were dominating before. What did they need to do? They needed to put a second gold medal up on the board, and if they did, well, that's 5 more points, and they're almost leading at that point. So just putting that out there. And you can't get 2 last places. They got 2 last places this year. But I'll throw my predictions out. I hate to be cliche and boring, but I mean the Raspberry Racers have to be my number 1 pick because they're a good racing team and they have margin for error. Different teams, I might have picked something below, but Raspberry Racers really do have the best chance here. After that, my second pick would probably be the Glaciers because I get really worried when I think about the Hazers and Mellow Yellow on the sand. I don't like them on the sand. And so Glaciers got to be my second pick. They got to be my second pick. After that, Savage Beater's my third pick. I never count them out. And I mean, Savage Beaters did some bullshit last year to mess with the old Rangers. I think they could do some bullshit again this year.
Flair's kind of mentioned that maybe we were sleeping on the Hazes a bit. They do have the most medals, but could Hayes amaze? Could Hayes amaze next week?
That moment when Hayes is okay. Well, here's the thing: you have to look at the event. Hazers is not my first choice for a Marbula 1 style sand race. Like, that's not my first choice for that event. And I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe I'm seeing, but listen, I'm just throwing opinions. They do have 6 medals, but I don't see it. I just don't. And I could be wrong. I mean, but I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Well, I know they're good, but Raspberry Racers are better. Speeders are better than the Hazers. Both of them are better teams than the Hazers. And Gliding Glaciers have a lot of freaking momentum right now.
They do.
And they're not even a slow team. Gliding Glaciers actually, if you look at like 5-meter sprint and stuff, they're actually a relatively fast team. So, I mean, Hazers might be pick 4, but listen. Oh, I'm tired. So, why don't you close this out?
I'm too. All right. Roll on, Marble sports fans.